The Jonathan David transfer rumors have kicked off once again today, with Tottenham Hotspur, Arsenal, and Everton Football Club all being interested in the Canadian star and wanting to bring him in the January transfer window right after the World Cup. And with the Premier League being the perfect destination for Jonathan David, the real question is, are one of these clubs the perfect destination? And that's what we're going to be taking a deep dive and looking at today, at what these clubs currently have up top, their general look at a club and squad so far, what Jonathan David could bring them, and my general thoughts on a transfer to either three of these clubs. But before we do that, guys, make sure to drop down below, drop a sub, hit that like button, and leave a comment down below on what you guys think of a transfer to either three of these clubs for Jonathan David. But we're going to start off and kick it off first with talking about JD heading to Arsenal. This would be a very interesting transfer. As we all know, Arsenal are off to a great start to the season, having 13 matches played, winning 11 of those matches with 1 draw, 1 loss, scoring 31 goals so far this season, being the second highest scoring team in the Premier League behind Manchester City. And we all know who they have up top in Gabriel Jesus, scoring 5 goals, 5 assists, having a 7.64 match rating in 13 matches, being absolutely brilliant since his transfer from Manchester City, and he has been phenomenal. Obviously a young, talented striker, the starting striker for the Brazilian national team. He is a phenomenal player. And what Arsenal look like in a formation right now are a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. They are a very prolific side with only one number 9. Of course, in the wings, they have Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, who've been absolutely brilliant this season. The one thing you look at this side is their number 9. Gabriel Jesus is absolutely phenomenal. He's a very young, talented striker. He has a lot of success, won a lot of trophies with Manchester City. The real question is JD better than Gabriel Jesus? 100% right now. Yes, goal scoring wise, giving you goals and assists, he is brilliant. He's done it in Liga. He's been fantastic. He's done it against some great sides, but he has never cut it in the Premier League. He's never done it in a top league, really, against all the top sides like the Premier League or La Liga or Bundesliga. So, of course, right now, JD is nowhere near to be better than Gabriel Jesus, but he is still a top striker, one of the best talents in the world right now, and of course, one of the best goal scorers in the world right now. There's no chance he would be ahead of Gabriel Jesus if he came to Arsenal. He'd be the number 2. But the real question is, would that make sense? Absolutely not. There's no sense for Jonathan David to make the switch to Arsenal and be a backup for Gabriel Jesus. And this side would never change to a front 2 because it absolutely makes no sense to go bench Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, who are absolutely brilliant. And this side is made up of wingers and creating loads of chances for Gabriel Jesus and, of course, their inside forwards. And they've been absolutely brilliant at doing that. For me, it would make absolutely no sense for Jonathan David to make the switch to Arsenal. As we know, there would be no way for him to get in that starting 11 right now with Gabriel Jesus. And right now they have a good backup, Edin Nketiah. For me, that rumor to Arsenal makes absolutely no sense, and I don't think it'd be smart for him to go to them right now. Yes, maybe a year ago when they were rumored of Vlahovic and, of course, JD, before they got Jesus, it would have been a great move. But now it just makes absolutely no sense. I understand that JD wants to go a top 12 side in Europe. That completely makes sense. He really much demands it, and he deserves that with his talent and how good he is and his age. But Arsenal are not the side for him to go to. So Arsenal is completely ruled out for me. And we're going to swiftly move on to the next side in Everton Football Club. And this is a very interesting one, a side that currently sits very far down the Premier League in 16th position. Currently has their head barely above water. One of the worst scoring sides in the Premier League, in the 3rd least goal scorer with 11. And of course, if you look at up top at Everton, it is Dominic Calvert-Lewin and DCL. At the age of 25, he has been highly rated but hasn't scored many this year, only has 1 in 6. Injuries have not been on his side. But this Everton side are a very interesting side. Of course, a younger team with some players, a younger manager, and for me, this is just not the side for Jonathan David to go to, no matter what way you look at this. JDS is a younger striker, but it would make no sense for him to go to a chaotic Everton side right now who could possibly get relegated. Yes, Everton have a lot of money, they have a lot of pull, they're a historic side, but it would make no sense to go to a side that's struggling, that might be a relegation fight, which JD, like I said, is demanding to go to a top 12 side in Europe. Yes, historically, Everton are a great side, but they're nowhere near a top 12 side in Europe. I understand the links to Tottenham and Arsenal, but the one to Everton kind of seems a bit foolish, a bit crazy. Yes, it might be a great stepping stone in the Premier League to go to a side like Everton, a feeler club, and work your way up. but JD would make no sense for him to go to Everton with his claims going to a top 12 club. In Europe, going to Everton would make absolutely no sense. So this one shouldn't really even be acknowledged or talked about at that long of a length, because this transfer shouldn't be happening, and I can't see any way of Jonathan David ending up at Everton Football Club. So we're going to swiftly move on to the third club he has been rumored to today, and that is Tottenham Hotspur. And this one is probably the most realistic out of all three of them. Tottenham have had a very ups and downs season. They're under a very defensive style manager in Antonio Conte, who likes to play the 3/5 in the back with a very heavy midfield, and will either go with a 2 up top or a 3. And of course, we know Heung-min Son is there, we know Richarlison, we know Harry Kane is there. Harry Kane, of course, being one of the best strikers in Europe, and of course, England's #1. But when you look at Tottenham Hotspur right now, a very defensive setup side who have won 8, drawn 2, and lost 4, scoring 27, one of the highest scoring sides in the Premier League, the 4th highest side in the Premier League for goals scored, behind Newcastle, Manchester City, and Arsenal. And if you look at their forwards, of course, Harry Kane, you got the likes of Heung-min Son, who is, of course, brilliant as well. Harry Kane's season has been fantastic, scoring 11 goals with 1 assist in 14 matches, and that is brilliant for a defensive side, having a 7.5 match rating. For me, the only way I see Jonathan David going to Tottenham is if they sell one of Heung-min Son or Harry Kane. Is that a possibility? Yes, very slightly. Harry Kane I don't see leaving at all. Now he's going to want to fight for that Premier League record goal scoring and be the #1 goal scoring player in the Premier League history, which is not going to change. That would be a remarkable record to break, and I think he will do it if he stays at Tottenham, which will happen. The player who might move is Heung-min Son. Been rumors around the league, rumors to him to move, which I could very much see happening. It's just, can they get the right fee for him? Of course, Daniel Levy is one of the hardest negotiators in the world of football, so that's going to be very interesting to see. But Jonathan David going to Tottenham would be a very exciting move. It would be how long Conte stays there. We, of course, know he doesn't stay for long tenures, so you might get a more attacking style manager in a couple years. Tottenham are a bigger club in the sense of what Jonathan David is looking for. He wants a top 12 side in Europe. Tottenham are that. They're a big side in Europe. They're now pushing in Champions League. They're a club that we expect to finish top 4 now. They might win a cup in the Premier League, whether that's a FA Cup, Carabao Cup. They're not going to win the Premier League. That's not what they are right now. But Jonathan David could easily suit with the Harry Kane style. We all love him in a front 2, whether that was with Kyle Larin or whether that was with his club side, with so many of the players he's played with at Los Lille, whether that be Timothy Weah or who have you. He has been brilliant in front 2. He is more converted to a #1 now, a #9 role, where he's been playing on his own now at Los Lille under Paulo Fonseca, which he's been truly brilliant at. But the real question is, should he play in a front 2? Everyone wants to see him playing in front 2. That's why he's been linked to likes of Inter, AC, clubs like that stature. So it'd be very interesting, and I'm sure a lot of people would love him to go to Tottenham. For me, Tottenham is the best one and best move here, and probably the most attractive transfer for Jonathan David. We all know how brilliant he's been this season, and I think Tottenham would make the absolute most sense here. But Jonathan David is still a brilliant young Canadian star, and going to Tottenham makes the absolute most sense. The other clubs make no sense. For me, all 3 of these transfers are probably not the best move for Jonathan David. If you're looking at a Premier League move, it would be Manchester United, with Ronaldo probably moving on. Anthony Martial can't stay fit. That would be the perfect situation for him to be in. But the real question is, which one of these 3 sides you guys see Jonathan David going to, and which one would be the best fit tactically and for his career in the long term? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Make sure to hit that like button and drop a sub down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.